Folks, let's get going here. We have a couple things to blow through. There will be the public hearing today. There will be another public hearing for a renewal of an agricultural property before the next meeting. So just so you guys know, so it'll be about the same schedule as today. All right, let's go into. Also there will be a proclamation today for Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month. That's in conjunction with the Summit the DD program. So the mayor will be reading that for us. All right, Ordinance 12. That is for the purchase or the donation of the property on Valley View. Do we have any questions about it? That is on the third reading. Any further questions? Mr. Godet.
He was with me, he'll be down in a moment.
All right.
I received no questions, no input whatsoever from the residents.
We can hold that at 2 if you would oblige, please.
Hold that at 2.
Yes, please.
So I gotta amend to remove it from the agenda?
No.
Or just not?
Hold it at second reading.
So he's just going to make a motion to hold this at second reading. Let's read it, or he does read it.
I think you still read it. Mark, we'll do a little close in a moment.
All right, we'll come back to that. Put a pin in it. All
Yep.
right, 18 on its second reading. This is the residential rental property. Mr. Rodick, you want to talk on the new findings on this one?
I'd be happy to. Recently, we had some discussion with our law department, and so we went kind of through the tax code, which was passed in 2016. It's about a 50-page ordinance, and it included a section there that discussed things relating to rental and lease properties that we were looking for in our ordinance regarding that, such as reporting by the owner, and in contact information for the owner and the tenant on an annual basis. And that's essentially what we're looking for out of our section of it. The reason it was adopted back in 2016 was that's when the city went from its own tax administrator to RETA, and RETA had certain qualifications with that. And so the purpose with that is that to check the tax returns of those people that lease or rent properties to ensure that they are paying. There's a section, it's in section B, that they're actually
Registered?
calling that in earnings. And so, and that was the reason for that ordinance being adopted. So, you know, I've talked with John about it, and he has probably a method that he would do to go ahead and turn this information over to RETA, but the building department would do the collection. We would go ahead and send out the notices, we'd keep track of who the rental properties are, who's living in the properties, just as we would with the rental ordinance. The county has something very similar to that on their website, and rental properties are supposed to be reported to Summit County. So we've asked for the roster of those that we have within our city from Summit County. And we'll probably get that within a week or so.
Okay.
I did some research on that with the county. Allegedly, again, somebody has something that isn't followed up with this. Mr. Rodick called me today and said this ordinance from 2016 has never been put in motion. The county has, what do they call, same thing, an ordinance or a resolution when the county?
They have a charter and a code.
Okay. If you don't register your rental property with the county and you go to evict somebody, courts, the municipal court will not hear it.
Okay.
I don't know how true it is, because then I found out later on that they don't go abide by that either.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know where all of that stands, but it's something that we brought up. I think I've even brought that up in the past, and I'm willing to stand off on this. How do you want this handled today?
It's up to you guys.
What are our options? How about that?
Your options are you can leave it on its current read, or you can table it, or you can vote it down.
So what happens when we table it?
When you table it, what'll happen is it'll become an asterisk on the bottom of your agenda until it's brought back to the table.
Okay.
It doesn't die, it just
Right.
Oh, it
goes to
doesn't die?
sleep.
Yeah, it doesn't die till you vote it down.
Right.
So should we perhaps vote to table this today, folks?
Yep.
I'm
Maybe
good
get
with
some more
that.
information. All right.
Along those lines, what about the previous ordinance? Table or maintain it second?
He just asked us to maintain it second. Is
We're
there,
gonna
are we,
hold-
Yeah, but do I need to
9150.
maintain the 12 at the second read?
For which one?
9150 group.
Yeah, the first.
Oh,
yeah.
that you don't need to do anything,
so what does he move to do?
nothing.
I move,
The mayor can just say we're gonna leave, ordinance, whatever it is,
Okay.
on second reading.
so Dave has nothing
Okay,
to do.
I don't have to do
All
it.
right.
Oh, you got
Alright.
it
What
that
did I
easy.
say?
Sounds
Not
good.
me.
All right, we're learning all sorts of Robert's rules.
It's been a long time since we had one of those.
It's yours.
All right, so next, 19 is the finance amendments. Yes?
Yes, it is. So, my memo, as it states, updated the beginning balances, and happy to say they're higher than my budget for, which is always a good thing. I was able to then increase the reserve, transfer to the reserve by another 300,000 to bring it to $1 million. That was a goal that we had back, I remember when I started 4 years ago. So that's one of the highlights. Putting 100,000 in retirement reserve because we had 2 recent retirements in police. And adding 250 to the municipal property to just apply that towards hopefully that ordinance that we're putting on hold at some point when we take property of that building and look to make improvements to it, so we don't have to borrow an additional 250,000. We'll add that to our down payment, if you will. Those are the highlights.
Good, just getting everything settled for the beginning of the year and
Right.
after the closing of all the accounts and everything.
Right.
Yeah. All right, I don't have any questions on this, it all looks really straightforward. Anyone else?
The thing I would ask is at some point, can we have a budget meeting? We haven't really had one in over a year, where we actually sit down and can go through what's going on. We usually used to do it either quarterly or every 6 months. We haven't had one.
We just
So
had
We
one.
just had a budget meeting at the end of before the end of the year.
Yeah.
That's for planning for this year, and then throughout the year, we look at it and don't.
Initially,
You don't wanna do that, fine, but
I'm not planning on having a budget meeting until I sit with Mr. Veras and possibly have one after he has his books completed with Rita. I haven't seen any need for it, and nobody else has either, so that's my plan unless Mr. Veras feels that it's necessary to have one before
Yeah,
then.
we can do a review sometime during the year.
Along those lines, I'll let you know, I've already started my 5-year capital reviews with department heads, so we could, add it to one of the capital meetings, But I would wait until we get further into the year because we only had not even 2 months of activity yet this year, so there's really nothing to review or compare to. I don't like to make predictions after 2 months anyway,
Exactly.
so.
Until you read reports, right? You want the Rita
Yeah.
numbers to come.
That was my thought. But
Yeah.
initially, it was asked to review the closed out session for 2022, and I didn't see any need for that, neither did anybody else.
And I'll continue to send you the monthlies and, always available for questions.
And I think that helps compared to previous years. I think we have a little bit more better communication between council and the finance department.
I've always had great communication, that's why we had the meetings.
Well, they're
because
better, they're better,
They
to-
would
easier
put it
to
out
read.
there.
Information is a little easier to read these
Yeah.
days than they have been in the
The
past.
thing is,
but-
this is the residents' money,
Right,
and when you don't have a meeting, they really don't know what's going on.
well, we, like,
So it's for their,
we'll look into
you
that,
know,
doing it
you
further
can
into the
send me an
spring.
email, but we don't publish it.
Right on, okay. We'll look at doing that, Mr. Ventura can consider, looking into that perhaps in May or June, before our first recess, how about that? All right, can we do 1, 2, 3 on this so we can get that money moved to where it needs to go?
I'm good.
All right, thank you very much. All right, next is the resurfacing of Valley View again. another ordinance related to, oh, Joe's not here?
Yeah, he's
It's
off.
just
This
moving
is
forward.
just the
Just
final
another-
legislation. You guys
yeah.
already passed the preliminary. This is just the official authorization for ODOT to go ahead and
All right,
perform the work.
so I'd like to do that 1, 2, 3, so we can get that
Do we
show
know
on
when
the
they're gonna
road.
start?
I don't know that.
I think they were talking
That's-
June.
Yeah, I mean, they have
Yeah,
to complete
that's
the bidding
obviously something
process,
that's
so.
gotta
Still gotta go
go
through the
real
bid.
public,
Yeah,
cause
it's
their
gonna be some
roads
time.
used constantly,
There'll be some time.
yeah.
It'll be this summer.
All right, next
If they can get
is,
the stuff.
next is the municipal property, that was what, service or parks?
This is service related. You wanna touch on this?
Service, yeah. It's just a sale of a 2012 Dodge Charger. It's got 118,000 miles. What's that? Oh, 2013. I'm sorry. The Charger's 13, and the Crown Vic is 12.
11.
It's 11.
These are long term.
He just got here.
2013 Dodge Charger. It's got 118,000 miles, and it's a hand-me-down police car that probably has 1 million hours or so,
Yeah.
something like that.
Idle hours.
Yeah, I know ours.
That's
A lot of
actually
idle
not-
hours, not really of use to us,
It's
so
not
we're
bad.
gonna sell it on gut deals,
Plenty of that.
with a minimum bid of 4,500.
Up to 100.
A 2011 Crown Vic that, has 78,000 miles and a lot of hours, and it's got some rust and some body issues, so we're gonna go ahead and move it along too. It's an older car, so that's all that is.
All right, I am thoroughly convinced that we don't need them anymore. What do you even use a Charger and a Crown Vic for in the service department?
We were mostly using them to shuttle like a mechanic to drive back and forth
All right.
to City Hall to, and, you know, they're kind of extra.
Gotcha.
We've got enough vehicles where I was driving the truck. I gave my truck back to the fleet, and so the mechanics have a truck to use to do with that, and they kind of pulls with them when they do that. So in case they need them.
All right, good. So let's get this done too. 1, 2, 3, if we would, and we can get those up on the auction block. All right, this is the agricultural district that will be appearing during the public hearing today. Mark, is there anything we need to know?
No, so obviously anybody can show up and speak in favor of or against the placement of the property into an agricultural district. It's not a renewal. I believe this property used to be in an agricultural district. They didn't renew it, so this is considered a new application. I believe this is slightly different. It looks like they're gonna make several different agricultural uses, but they provided all the specifics in the application because it's under 10 acres, which they're required to do if it's under 10 acres. Now, there was a requirement that council hold a public hearing within 30 days of filing the application with the clerk of council, which you're doing tonight. You then have 30 days to decide what to do with the application.
Okay.
So you could move forward with it tonight after the hearing, or you could, consider it at the next meeting, whatever you want to do. If you want to pass the ordinance that approves it, you can also modify the agricultural district request, or you can reject it.
Well, let's definitely hold this to one reading today, then, and we can, everyone can look over all the information.
Rates on it? Remember the
You
goat
know,
one?
I don't know if there are, I can't remember the application. It's, I
But,
think
the
yeah.
property down the street is agricultural.
Animal husbandry is
Yeah,
a.
she was
authorized
raising
representative.
everything and anything, when people bought it, still are using it in that way.
All right.
I'd add in a heartbeat.
And the final one, and I'm sorry for making this meeting so short, but it's the way the cookie crumbles. The non-union, the compensation schedule, this is for
Dr. Chaddick.
Director Chaddick.
Thank you. This is so we can take a host of our part-time positions and actually tag them additionally with seasonal. We get a lot of people coming in for lifeguarding positions, head lifeguarding, front desk, camp counselors, and also rec leaders. This would allow us to utilize them as seasonal employees from May to August, basically the time they're away from college. Then we can also beef them up in hours. So instead of maybe trying to hire 10 lifeguards, maybe we can reduce that number down to 5, work them more during the course of that summer season. So that really adds the seasonal job classification to them. So that's what we're trying to do for this. We'd like to get this through now if we can, because we're starting summer literally next week.
If you're just reclassifying, is it budget neutral?
There's no, it's the same position, it's
Right.
just
Okay.
tagging them as seasonal. So yes, budget neutral.
Each location where it shows on the ordinance, there are already, the number of employees is as needed.
Okay.
So this is, and right now it's classified as part-time. So with the addition of the seasonal, which seasonal technically isn't an employee classification under our code, it's technically a special employee. That's why I included both terms, even though the city has traditionally used the term seasonal. It's just clarifying in addition to part-time, you can also have the seasonals.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Good explanation. So I would like to do that 1, 2, 3, so we can get everyone hired and ready for the summer, please.
Sounds like a plan.
Anything else? We're running late for our meeting out there. I apologize again.
I had something, but I'll mention it during committee reports.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
We're already late, so I want to get started. All right, this is the meeting for the public hearing. Can I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Brandt.
Here?
Mr. Finley.
Here.
Mr. Garvis.
Here.
Ms. Tully.
Here.
Mr. Ventura.
Here.
Okay, the purpose of this hearing is to consider the new application for placement of land at 9066 North Bedford Road in an agricultural district. This is the opportunity for the public to come up and give comments. Not everyone at once? Any comments from council on this?
We'll be reviewing the paperwork that we get, that's been submitted to the county, right? And the applicant has submitted their paperwork to the county and to us. We'll be reviewing it, and it'll be on our agenda this meeting and following meetings. It'll be only one read today.
And I was going to say, just to clarify for the minutes, this is a public hearing pertaining to ordinance 22-2023, and the application for the placement into an agricultural district is attached as Exhibit A to that piece of legislation.
Thank you.
Can you also explain, since nobody's here, but they may watch this later, where the address is, and what does it mean to go to agricultural?
I believe the address is,
9066 North Bedford.
thank you. And placement into an agricultural district, there's certain statutory bases to be designated as an agricultural district. It provides some tax and other benefits to the property owner. Some traditional bases for an agricultural district is animal husbandry. You're producing lumber on site that you sell, things of that nature.
Yeah, and again, it's 9066 North Bedford, which is just north of Ledge, on the left, because it's on the west side.
It's just north of.
But we
Cross.
have done this before for others, so this isn't anything brand new to this community. We've done it for at least 2 others. And then, is it every year you have to, every 5 years, you got to prove that you're still doing it?
Yeah, and the
Okay.
council will have a renewal proposed agricultural district at the next meeting for a separate parcel of property too.
And when you say agricultural, does it have to be that you're raising vegetables or crops, or does that include also animals?
Both amongst other things, there's a enumerated list in the statute that they have to comply with.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. We will be back in 10 minutes, roughly. All right, we're on time, folks. Hello and welcome to the February 25th council meeting at 7:30 PM. Will Mr. Hoover please call the roll?
Ms. Brandt.
Here.
Mr. Finley.
Here.
Mr. Garvis.
Here.
Ms. Tully.
Here.
Mr. Ventura.
Here.
Now I ask American Legion Chaplain Tom O'Brien to lead us in the invocation and the pledge.
With bowed heads, let us pray. Almighty God, as we gather here today, we ask for your guidance and wisdom to help us make sound decisions that will benefit our community. May we be mindful of the diverse needs and voices that make up our city, and may we act with fairness and compassion in all that we do. We also ask for your protection and blessing upon our city, its residents, and those who serve and protect it. And in closing, O God of mercy, we ask for thy blessing and comfort for our neighbors who may be suffering from mental or physical disabilities. Share them and bring them thy blessing of health and happiness. Amen. Now please join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I'm going to start today with a proclamation. And it reads, whereas in 1967, boards of developmental disabilities were created in Ohio under House Bill 169, including the Summit County Developmental Disabilities Board. And whereas through the work of legislators and other stakeholder groups, including families and community-based organizations, public policy changes like the Americans with Disabilities Act have been developed to support and maximize the independence of people with developmental disabilities to create a more inclusive society. And whereas the Summit County Developmental Disabilities Board has made investments to support individuals that residents with disabilities may live more independently and find meaningful employment. And whereas the Summit County Development Disabilities Board is asking Macedonia to join us in recognizing March 6th, 2023 as Inclusion Day, in which we recognize and support people of all abilities who are maximizing their talents and potential in pursuing their dreams and achieving their individual goals while making significant contributions to our community. And whereas Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month is an appropriate time to recognize Macedonia's public policy improvements, the accomplishments of community organizations, developmental disability service providers, and most importantly, the achievements of thousands of individuals with developmental disabilities who contribute daily to our communities. Now therefore, I, Nicholas Molnar, Mayor of the City of Macedonia, Ohio, do hereby recognize March 2023 as Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month in Macedonia and commend the community organizations, agencies, and direct service professionals for their dedication, awareness efforts, and outstanding assistance towards improving the quality of life for children and adults with developmental disabilities. Very nice thing there. Okay, next we'll move into the approval of minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from the Thursday, February 9th, 2023 regular council meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, next up is public comments. Anyone? Nope. All right, correspondence with the clerk.
No, sir.
All right, then we'll move right into, I thought you said yes, sir. You threw me off there. Pending or new legislation, starting with ordinance number 12, which will be held at a second reading, so we will move right to ordinance number 18.
I move to table ordinance number 18, 2023.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Director Goodetti, do we still read that or no?
No, because nobody offered it for an additional.
All right, we'll move right to ordinance number 19.
Yes, I move to offer ordinance number 19, 2023 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance amending ordinance number 67, 2022, relative to current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Macedonia for the period of January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023.
Director Veras.
Thank you, Mayor. This is our first amendment of the year. Main reasons are to update the beginning unencumbered cash balances, which ended up higher than expected, budgeted for. because they were higher, we are now able to add an additional 300,000 to the emergency reserve on top of the 100,000 we were going to give to the emergency reserve. That'll bring our emergency reserve to $1 million for 2023. And an additional 100,000 to the retirement reserve this year. We had 2 recent retirements in the police department. An additional 250,000 to municipal property that we can put towards a cash down payment for a building that we plan to use for our service department.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move to adopt ordinance number 19, 2023, and post the same according to law.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Ordinance number 19 passed, carries, I'm sorry. Resolution number 20.
Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance 2020-23 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Final resolution requesting the Director of Transportation to proceed with project PID 116540 relative to the resurfacing of a portion of Valley View Road within the city of Macedonia.
So this is essentially, I guess we can call this phase 3 of the paving of Valley View Road from the Valley View Twinsburg line to the Hudson border. So this is the final step to get that moving. Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I'd move that we pass and post according to law, Resolution 2020-23.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 20 carries. Resolution number 21.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer resolution number 21, 2023 for its first, second, and third reading by title only, please.
Second?
Sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
A resolution authorizing the disposition of certain municipal property by the City of Macedonia in accordance with City of Macedonia Codified Ordinance, Section 121.05, and Ohio Revised Code, Section 721.15.
Director Wilson. I was jumping to get to you, that's why I was jumping
He was
ahead.
excited. Thank you, Mayor. This is for the sale of a 2013 Dodge Charger. It has 118,000 miles, and it's an old police cruiser that probably has a lot more hours than we can imagine. And it's reaching its life's end, at least as far as we're concerned. And a 2011 Crown Victoria with 78,000 miles with some body damage and some rust that is more expensive than probably worth putting into the car. So we would like to put both of the vehicles on gov deals.
Thank you. And the key with that is the idle hours of police vehicles. Obviously, if you know anything about gas-powered engines, that's not good. So it tends to deteriorate the vehicle a lot more quickly, and then when the frames start to rust, it doesn't help anything either. So they're becoming money pits, essentially. Any further comments? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Mayor, I'd ask that we pass and post according to law resolution number 21, 2023, please.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution 21 carries. Ordinance number 22.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance number 22, 2023 for its first reading.
An ordinance approving the application for placement into an agricultural district of the real property located at 9066 North Bedford Road within the City of Macedonia.
Thank you. Ordinance number 23.
Mayor, I'd like to offer ordinance 23, 2023 for its first, second, and third reading by title only.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
An ordinance amending Section 1 of Ordinance 79, 2022, which established the compensation schedule for the non-union city employees of Macedonia effective January 1st, 2023.
Director Chaddock.
Thank you, Mayor. This will be to take a number of our part-time positions, such as head lifeguard, front desk staff, summer camp staff, and rec leaders, and add a seasonal job title to them, so that way it allows us the ability to hire them in for a seasonal time frame from could be May to August, May to September, something like that, and be able to work them more hours during that period of time. This is typically when the college students come in and join us, as well as some high school kids who are off for the summer. So this will give us a chance to work them a little bit more during that period of time, and then get them ready for the next summer of employment. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, what is your pleasure?
I move that we pass ordinance number 23, 2023 and post the same according to law.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance number 23 carries. Do we have any other motions or legislative actions? Hearing none, I'll move into the mayor's report. I just want to reference a couple things. We had the incident with East Palestine. I always make a mistake and say Palestine, but it's Palestine. And then also the incident at Schumann in Oakwood. I put out something today on our website and our Facebook kind of discussing that because I've had some folks reach out to me inquiring about what Macedonia is doing to keep us safe. The one thing I want to be very clear about with everyone is that if anything occurs that affects the safety of the people that live and work in our community, believe me, you're going to know about it right away. We are trained and ready to deal with a lot of different situations. I can assure you that our police and our fire and our service department will be there at a moment's notice to make sure that we keep everyone safe in this community. As it relates to the air quality, it's referenced in my letter. We did have the fire department, and I'll ask the chief to touch on this very briefly, but we were testing the air quality and we didn't find anything, and we even had someone call dispatch to go out and check it, correct?
Correct. Our tower responded to assist with the fire. The shift commander did not respond. When the truck left, he went with his meters because the truck reported a haze at the north end of town. They went with our expensive meters, and we found nothing more than what's in normal smoke. There was no chemicals in that air, and we were comfortable with that, and it dissipated shortly thereafter.
Thank you. And as it relates to the railroad, it does flow through town. We're pretty confident that the rail line that did break free and have the crash did flow through our town. We do know what's on those. I found out through our safety meeting with Chief Ripley that we could find out at a moment's notice what's on those, and we're hazmat trained. We have fire EMS people that are trained to deal with those things. So we have the training in place to God forbid if that ever happened to us, we're going to be there. We're going to know how to deal with it. We also have the resources of the county to help with that too. I've been to a number of different things for emergency management. I know the chiefs have been through it, but we can reference them too if anything ever was to occur. And obviously it opens up the door to many other factions, but I know through the county when we talked about it, it's state and federal. I mean, it goes to the top immediately if we ever needed that help. So it's all there if needed. And as it relates to the water, I want to actually read what Cleveland Water sent us because I think it's very important that everyone hears what they have to say. If you don't have an opportunity to read the press release I had, I'm going to give you at least this one little tidbit. This is Cleveland Water speaking, and I quote, "Our water is completely safe for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, we get our water from Lake Erie, which is a completely separate watershed from where the derailment happened in the Ohio River watershed. We have found a surprising number of customers don't realize that this means the water from that area actually ends up in the Mississippi River and then to the Gulf of Mexico, which I found to be quite shocking. Second, we use a surface water source. We are treating the raw water from Lake Erie to remove all kinds of contaminants, not just the ones that are part of the East Palestine derailment." I had a gentleman reach out and say, well, are we testing the water in town? Being clear about that too, we rely on Cleveland Water for our water service. They handle all that. To test the water, what happened at their facility, you have to remember all that water flows from Cleveland Water to us, to each of our homes. So, I mean, to test inside your home, I think there's different options if you wanted to do that within your home, and you have every right to do that. But from what we're being told from Cleveland Water, everything is safe. There's no contaminants. The incident that took place is not going to have any effect on us whatsoever. So I want to be very clear about the safety of the people that live in this community. The air you breathe and the water you drink and the water you utilize is safe for you to use. If, again, something were to happen where that wasn't the case, I can assure you that we would have communication out to everyone very quickly, and we would do everything we need to do. I'm not going to cause panic and say that we would do that, but if God forbid something happens, we're going to keep you safe. That's part of what my job is to do, and just know that you have that protection from the city and our amazing dispatchers, firefighters, service workers, police. I mean, everyone is there and committed to your safety. So can't say that enough times, but I want you to be rest assured that we're safe, and I'm going to continue to make sure that we remain safe. Chief or Lieutenant, anything you want to add to that I may have missed?
Well, the only thing I could add is in the last time we had a train derailment of any significance was in the early 90s, and it was dealt with. And the rail companies work with us. We train with them, and we're as prepared as any community that can be for an incident of that size.
And we obviously, our hearts go out to, the folks affected by that, and, we hope that that gets rectified quickly. And I did notice on some of the news sources that it looks like the federal government's starting to come through and be an assistance to that, so I'm happy to see that those people are getting some help as well.
Mayor?
Yes.
I just wanted to touch on, I was going to touch on this in my report, but it's relative to your report. There's some training that we're doing right now that's just, it's timely to what the events that are going on in Ohio. Our dispatchers are currently scheduled to train next week on the Summit County Rebound Mass Communication System. The training's provided by Summit County EMA. We also have scheduled at the end of March a hazardous material tactical response training for 911 emergency dispatchers. We're going to get as many people through that as we can. And our patrol division, I guess it's just human nature. We have a comprehensive critical incident response plan. It covers everything from hazmat to natural disaster to nuclear biological. This past week, they started training and refreshing themselves on that policy and even doing tabletops. So I want to assure everybody, you never know what could be around the corner, but we try to prepare ourselves the best we can.
Thank you. Well, while you're speaking, the next topic I wanted to bring up is I've seen some things that I've been asked about the process for the next chief of Macedonia of police. The way it works for us, we are a charter community. We go through civil service. They have taken a test. They have taken an assessment. The top 3 people in that will be interviewed by myself and HR, and from that point, we'll choose the next chief. I fully anticipate, hopefully, by the next meeting, if not the one after that, more likely the one after that, we should have another chief in place for the city of Macedonia. So that's our process. There's nothing different that works there. I've seen questions about it. I've been asked questions about it, and I've even had some people think that we were doing something that wasn't all up front, but that's the process that we have in place. I want to be clear, too, with Chief Golden's retirement, in the police world, that they have something called the drop, and there's a certain number of years, I believe it's 8, is that correct? At the 8th year, on the head, if you don't lose, you start losing money, and you lose significant amounts of money. So he left, I believe, on the 8th year, on the last day, am I correct?
I think he had 2 days to spare, but yes, he
had
took
to
it
go,
right
down to
period.
and rightfully so. I don't blame him for that. I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for him in retirement. But understand, that's a process that goes in place. There was nothing there other than Chief Golden saying, I've put in my time, it's time for me to retire and enjoy life, and this is what's best for me and my family financially and for my career. So don't think that there was anything more to that, because that's the honest to God truth of what happens, and our fire and police can attest that in the higher levels, that's the way that works. There's nothing there other than he did what was best for himself. So, last but not least, kind of a good note. We've talked a lot about the area over there by Burlington, so we have another business coming. We're going to get a Sephora over there. So that's going to fill that last and final space that we have there. So that's forthcoming. I can't tell you the date that's going to happen, but it will be coming here in the future.
Does that mean they're moving out of Kohl's?
That I don't know.
Because they just did the renovation to move into Kohl's.
Well, apparently they're moving out. I don't know. Unless they're going to have 2 of them, I'm not quite sure. I would assume. Yeah, I'm not real sure, but they're going into that space. I'm assuming they'll probably be leaving Kohl's. I think I had read something that there's going to be a separation between Kohl's and Sephora at that point. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I don't know the corporate level of things with that. And please don't text and drive. Concentrate on the road. Put your device down. All right, that's the end of my report. I'll move into committee reports.
Parks and Rec Commission met last Wednesday upstairs with some of the renovations in the upstairs to the rec center for the break room. We talked a lot about what is coming up in the spring, not just programming, but a lot of work in the parks, constant work on the trails. We're very excited that they're very close to getting trail maps up. They will be temporary in the fact that the trails will still be changing in the years to come, but they will be completely effective, and we won't have so many people just wandering lost in the woods anymore. I know that's a huge problem, right? But no, that's great. We're looking forward to that. There's going to be a lot of work done on the ball fields, and they have a lot of work to get. They're already, busting at the seams with the spring and summer programming, so that's great to hear. Whenever we have these meetings, there's just a lot of great things that the Parks and Rec department is doing. They're kind of hard to keep up with, so we always have nice meetings and hear good things from them. And so we just, wish them luck on another excellent year, and we, want to stay informed, and that's what we're doing. So thank you very much. That's it.
The Charter Review Commission met last night for the first time. I want to express a thank you to all the residents that were nominated by my fellow members of council that came last night. I think we have a really good group.
Are you discounting my member?
Yours too. Yours
you.
too. And I just want to let everybody know that we are going to be meeting every other Wednesday, which currently aligns with the Wednesdays that precede the council meetings. So the next meeting will be on the 8th in council chambers over there at 6 p.m. It's open to the public. We do not currently have an open public comment period, so if anybody is interested in relaying a comment to the commission, we ask that you send it in writing through the council clerk. And earlier today, I extended an invitation both to the mayor and all the department heads to do the same if there's any interest in sharing your concerns over any charter issues that the commission should review. And I think that's it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other committee reports? Hearing none, we'll move into department reports, starting with Director Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. This week we are wrapped up some interviews for a couple open positions. It's gone really well. We've got some great candidates, and it's just good to see kind of an upturn in that. Seeing a lot more candidates. I don't know what's causing it, but and some really qualified people. Obviously, trash this time of year is hard to pick up or keep up with. That's a constant battle. Mayor reminds me all the time, lets me know. We gotta keep up with that. The restroom, I stopped at the vet's restroom last night on my way home, and the guys were in there. They were in there working still late at night, and they're just doing a fantastic job. We're right there. We put the final coat of mud on the ceiling, on the drywall on the ceiling. Tonight they might sand and paint that and trim it out. We are really close. Cleveland Vicon will put the partitions in this week, and then our plumber can set toilets and stuff. So we're right there. Excited about that, and to get ready to start on another restroom project here at City Hall. We're looking forward to remodeling the restrooms here and doing some work in City Hall. Other than that, we just keeping up with all the equipment that continues to break, and the spring equipment, mowing, weed eaters and all that stuff, getting everything ready, because before we know it, the weather will turn and the grass will grow like it's never grown before. So that's all. Thank you.
Welcome to Northeast Ohio, sir. Okay, Director Barris.
Thank you, Mayor.
I did it on purpose.
We have spring programs are up and running currently for registration. If you do not get into a program, please sign up for the wait list and we will try to get you in. The Lucky Leprechaun Scavenger Hunt will be March 11th out in the park. Our park's maintenance is up and going currently to get the fields ready and to get the parks cleaned out. And finally, the baseball fields are booked. If you need one, please get on our wait list for them. That concludes my report.
And we have 2 fields with lights now.
2 fields with lights, field B and C.
All right, Director Veras.
Director Chaddock, did the website get fixed yet?
Director Collins, can I get an assist on this?
I was just going to let people know that if it's not fixed, they can call or email you. You could send them the link directly to the registration page, yeah? Or you can check
Correct. You can still
Facebook.
get on our social media
Yeah.
and get a link
Yeah.
to register. And I believe Sam Edgar, our marketing and special events coordinator, actually even reposted a registration link just in case people ran into problems. So it's on our social media. I'll turn it over to Director Collins. He's the expert in this area.
No, it's not. Our vendor deleted our DNS records.
All right, that's it. I saw what the problem. I was just trying to get him to say where you could find a link for. You can still register for programs by going to the link directly to the program registration. And if you can't find it because you can't get to the website, that link is on social media, or you can email or even call the rec center and they'll help you, or they can register you over the phone.
Do you want to just give your report while you're on? Make it easier?
Completed some drops for the chemical controllers for the pool, so now they can adjust their pool chemicals from anywhere in the world at any time. So
Pretty
I'm
cool.
sure the rec center is excited about that.
And that's real, anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world. The rec center technology has moved into the new desk. I actually did that before this meeting, so I don't know if you've seen it or not, but your employees are at the front desk.
Sweet,
Hey.
thank you, sir.
We've dealt with some fire department CAD issues that worked through, new user adds and removals. We've had, a handful of users in the past couple of weeks change. Some court rights changes and some user rights changes for finance with the whole in and out, with finance being in and out of court. So we had some updates there for security and for files. Resolved a static issue on one of the phone lines, the non-emergency phone lines in the dispatch center. Anytime you guys call the non-emergency, when they pick up the phone, they're picking up from a pool of lines. One of their lines had some static in it, took care of that, so they should be back to fully functional and you can hear their voices as clear as possible. And then did our yearly round of PCI compliance updates for credit card transactions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, Director Veras.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to remind residents that the Macedonia refund are being processed as they come in, and we've already done a couple batches of them. The due date is July 17th, which is a Monday. Unless your rate of return is extended, we will extend your refund request until that date. End of my report.
Thank you. Chief Ripley.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for that information.
Yes.
We did, in fact, receive our new UTV from Polaris. It took 18 months, or just about 18 months. Hopefully at the next meeting you will see it. Totally outfitted. We're currently training and breaking it in. We did, as mentioned earlier, assist with the fire in Oakwood. We had 5 people on the fire. We also sent a squad to deal with some of the injured. And we had people come in within 20 minutes. All 3 stations were backstaffed and we were full bore to handle everything else. So that's a good thing. The only other thing I had to say, I would like to wish my wonderful wife a happy first anniversary last week.
Oh.
So, end of report.
Wait, where was you?
What's that?
So you're late?
No.
Happy anniversary, sir.
We just didn't
And
hold
she
a
was out
special
of
meeting
town,
about
right?
it, that's all.
Yeah, she was in California.
All right, Interim Chief, also known as Lieutenant Yakupovich.
Well, we already spoke about the training. I just also wanted to mention that we recently hired a new full-time patrol officer, Matthew Fouts. He started Monday. Want to welcome him aboard. We're certainly glad to have him. He comes to us with a little over 10 years' experience, so we're very happy to have him. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Director Smith.
Thank you, Mayor. HR has no report for this group this evening.
Thank you. Commissioner Rodick.
Thank you, Mayor. The building department has seen quite an uptick in building department activity this past week. I imagine this, it seems like it's post-COVID, and a lot of it is actually commercial activity. And secondly, I don't know if anybody saw the news leader front page today. There was actually an image of the Chase Bank. It will not be the image that will be built. It's not designed in our Western Reserve motif that the city requires. So they will be coming back in March for their final architectural approval.
And just to be clear, I think the news leader is going to be done with the print edition at the end of next month, and there was also a misprint in there that we were getting electric police cars. That's not true either. I'm not quite sure what that, it was a little.
The headline was
It was a little foggy.
misreading.
It was difficult to understand, but I can assure you that that's not something we're considering at this point, so that's not happening. So thank you, Mr. Rodick. All right. Director Goodetti. Any unfinished business? Any new business?
Yeah, I'd like to add to the fact that the newsletter, which has been around for I don't know how long, the last edition will be March 22nd. For us, I'd like to say thanks to April, Ken, Michael, Eric. They were always here. When they looked at why they're doing it, they say it's electronic news. The only problem I have, if we're in that little zone of just being in Summit County, so the Plain Dealer may not write about us and the Beacon may not write about us. It was a great way to know what was going on in this community. So I'm going to miss it, and I want to say thank you to all the reporters, the editors who took care of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?